It's the SKOR North Twins Show.
And the Twins really know how to buzzkill a good series on a Sunday, don't they?
Yeah.
Sweep the Guardians in a doubleheader and then lose Saturday, Sunday, and then take the first three against Texas and then have a 4-run lead? Evaporate?
Yeah. 4-0. What was it, 19 pitches?
Yeah.
Alcala came undone in 19 pitches?
Most of them went out of the ballpark. Yep.
Yeah.
So overall, a great weekend and a great start to the road trip. But the way that you fumbled that game on Sunday, I'm curious to hear what the tone of this State of the Twins episode is going to be here. But before we dive into the overview, Declan's been at a wedding on the ocean all weekend. Get his
Panhandle side. I'd never been to the Panhandle. I've been to Florida. I have family in West Palm and Orlando, but I've never been up on the Destin, Rosemary Beach, 30A side. Very nice.
Look pretty nice.
Fan.
Pictures look pretty nice. But before we do anything here, a couple things. So we are giving away a 75-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV on the SKOR North app. $1,800 value. You can register to win it. We're giving it away at the end of the month. You can register now in the SKOR North app under Listener Rewards and just have a glorious 75-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV for watching, I don't know, maybe Twins playoff baseball. And speaking of Twins playoff baseball, Twins tickets available when they come back from San Diego. This road trip continues out west, but they're going to be back home, and you can watch Twins baseball at one of the best ballparks in America, twins.com/tickets. Let's see here. August 23rd is pickleball night. Also post-game fireworks, August 23rd. Carlos Correa replica jersey on August 24th.
Yeah.
You one of the first 10,000 fans get a Carlos Correa replica jersey?
Cardinals, Braves, Jays, and if I'm not mistaken, Saturday night, Pablo against Sonny Gray is on the docket, as they say.
Yes. So twins.com/tickets to go hang out at a glorious ballpark these summer nights.
Cardinals fans will fill up the park. So Twins fans, don't get embarrassed.
Don't be alarmed.
Don't
just
get
boo
embarrassed.
them.
Don't get embarrassed and have, it's like, let's go Brewers. And like there was nothing. It was quiet.
If they chant, let's go Cardinals, you respond in the silence, let's go Twins.
Yeah. Yep.
Or Cardinals suck.
Yeah, that's
It could be either one of those.
Absolutely.
But that's
Either one's work.
Let's go
Absolutely.
Cardinals. Cardinals suck.
And then with the Jays, they come down from Winnipeg and Manitoba and fill up our ballpark and drink all our beer. Don't let them do that.
Let's go Blue Jays. Blue Jays suck.
Yeah, that fits in perfect.
I love. They're my favorite opposing team.
Jays?
Blue Jays when they come to town.
Oh, it's great.
The best. It's the absolute best. I like hanging out with them.
Those Canadians can just suck down the beers.
Are they
very
like?
impressive.
So are you saying are they polite? Why do you enjoy Blue Jays?
Yeah, they're fun. They're an engaging group. They're not jerks. They're not
They're
in
good
your
drunks.
face. Yeah, they're just good.
They're quality
They're
drunks.
Canadians. They're Canadians. They're just normal night. They're basically
They're
like
just here
Minnesotans.
for a good time.
Yeah, they're good.
Just here for a good
fan.
time. So here's the overview. State of the Twins. They are 70-54 after losing yesterday. They were 17 games over 500 after Saturday. It was a high watermark for the year. But 70-54. Second place in the American League Central, just 2 games behind the Guardians. 7th in runs scored per game in the entire major leagues. 14th in runs allowed per game. Baseball Reference gives the Twins a 94% chance to make the playoffs right now and an 8% chance to win the whole bleeping thing. I think that's as high as we've seen
That's
it.
gone up. That's definitely gone up.
I think it was like 3 or 4% for a while, then maybe 6% last week. This is the highest it's been, I believe, all year. 8% to win the whole bleeping thing. So we'll start with resident Twins beat podcaster Declan. Twins vibes are blank right now.
I might have used this last week. Forgive my sun-soaked and beer-soaking time in Florida the last 4 or 5 days, but the vibes to me are still very strong. I think this was a great week of Twins baseball. All right, you took 2 out of 3 and clinched the season series against Kansas City. You took 3 out of 4 against a good Texas team. I know there was the blow up yesterday, and I actually have a favorite thing from that I'll share in a bit. That's a little bit of a backwards way of getting there, but I think the Twins' vibes are strong, man. Cleveland's on the ropes here a little bit. This is going to be a fun next 6 weeks to close the regular season. We'll hopefully get some more updates and positivity on guys like Carlos Correa coming back, Brooks Lee coming back, but the Twins took care of business against a really good Kansas City team. I know the Texas Rangers haven't lived up to their World Series hype from last year, but that's still taking 3 out of 4 against any team on the road is important. Twins vibes are still strong to me.
Twins vibes are being tested. They are being tested, and here's why. So, as Deck said, 3 of 4 in Texas. The loss sucked, but it's still an impressive, damn near series sweep. You took 3 of those games. Cleveland gets swept by the Brewers, so the Twins actually could have pulled within a game if they had won on Sunday, but they're 2 games back. Now you go play a Padres team that lost on Sunday to end a 9-game winning streak. They're 20-6 since the All-Star break. They've gone from 7 back of the Dodgers at the break to 3 back, and they currently lead the National League wildcard standings. Also, and here's the test. This is getting fun, all right? The Royals swept the Reds, and if you look now, are a game behind the Twins in both the American League Central. They're in 3rd place, and the wild card as well. So Cleveland's fallen off, but here comes KC. So they're being tested, not like in a, oh my God, they blew a game, they're being tested because this is awful, but this is getting to be really juicy and fun because Cleveland might be slumping now, but if Kansas City looks to be hot, it's going to be a very, very interesting rest of the season.
Yeah, so okay. And where are the Red Sox at right now, would you say? So
I didn't say it on the Red Sox.
I believe that the Twins are 3.5 games up on like the wild card position, but the Royals are just a game back.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
I'm less concerned. I mean, the Royals, yeah, but to me, it's Boston that you're really looking at because that's like protection against falling out of because they're not like totally through the woods of. They certainly haven't clinched anywhere near playoff spot and sitting here in the middle of August.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Boston's 65-58, so Twins 70-54. So Twins are 4.5 games up on Boston, which is lurking right there. I would say even despite that loss on Sunday, Twins vibes are as good as they've been since entering Target Field in terms of what they can do. The highest the vibes have been regular season, they're probably 2010, brand new season at Target Field, 95 wins, whatever it was. And then 2019 Bomba Squad. But this team continues to win and stack series and look impressive and win close games without all of its key players together as one. So they're sitting here doing this, and Carlos Correa has missed huge chunks of the season, and Royce Lewis missed chunks of the season. You know, Byron Buxton on the injured list. So I there's this hopefulness that as they keep winning, that they're only going to add key pieces, some of the most key pieces to their roster to this thing before September's over. Okay, back to Declan here. What is your current favorite Twins thing?
This is a little bit of a roundabout way of getting here, but so Jorge Alcala wears it yesterday, right? Twins have a 4-run lead, and that's a crucial part of the game, but it's not a 1-run game. And he elects to send Alcala out there, who gets a little bit punished a bit and gives up, the 4 or 5 runs and 19 pitches and wear well. Meanwhile, Trevor Richards, who does come into the game eventually, is just sitting there. And to me, my favorite thing is a little bit of Rocco's subtle middle finger to the front office of putting Jorge Alcala in there and not the guy you got at the trade deadline. And last week when I was in the clubhouse, it was brought up to Rocco that, hey, a lot of these starting pitchers that you have now been homegrown guys. Bailey Ober is a homegrown guy. Obviously, these young pitchers that have to step up in Simeon and Louis Varland and David Festa, a lot of these guys are now homegrown. And Rocco kind of threw back the question of, it is nice that, our pipeline is developing. The Twins actually now have the second best prospect pool in baseball, which is a strong suit. But also he mentioned, and I didn't think this was coincidence, when we have opportunities to trade for guys, we have to trade for them too, which they've done with Sonny Grays, they've done with Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez. Like they've made nice trades, but when there's an opportunity or a window to do it, you have to capitalize. So yes, my favorite thing is not Jorge Alcala necessarily getting destroyed and then basically blowing that game. It's the fact that Rocco Baldelli did not elect to use a reliever in Trevor Richards, who was acquired here to help strengthen your bullpen depth with a 4-run lead. It hadn't pitched in, 4 or 5 days at that point. I kind of liked the subtle but effective little bit of a bleep you to the front office for not getting more pitching acquisitions at the deadline.
So I feel like a lot of people were criticizing Rocco for his bullpen management and letting Alcala sit out there and give up all those runs. So I can see it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to need some of these guys behind Griffin Jacks and Duran down the stretch. So can he work out of this when he doesn't have his best stuff? Or did he figure out, maybe there was another motive in here that he figured out that Alcala, as good of a season as he's having, maybe he's not a guy that you're going to put out in certain situations. But I don't know. I did see he took a lot of heat for the way he handled that. Like, why wouldn't you bring Richards in? But then again, like a week ago, who was clamoring to bring Richards in after he walked the ballpark in that one outing?
That Cubs
right?
game was a disaster.
Yeah.
Like, that's no confidence in it. And you know what? I'll give Alcala this. He's been really good. He had a bad game. And it's disappointing, but it's funny because on Twitter, you continually see this one's on Rocco. This one's on Rocco. I love how when they lose games, you just have fans who are like, Rockhead did it again. It's like, well, there might be, and at times they're right, but at times it's like, okay, I don't think that's
it is unusual that you would let one reliever blow a 4-0 lead in a spot like that. That, like, usually if things go, unless it's your closer, you might go down with the ship with your closer. But he went down with the ship with, like, not one of his 2 best relievers, which was unorthodox.
Mm-hmm. It definitely was. Move Louis Varland to the bullpen.
But are you putting him out there trustworthy? I mean, I know we have high praise for him as a potential reliever, but is he a guy that's going to be lights out in a high leverage 8th inning?
Well, playoffs last year, he was pretty damn good, if I recall correct, right?
Didn't he give up like a ringing RBI double in a game against Toronto?
I would not say he was pretty darn good. He showed flashes with velocity that are tempting, but I would not say he was a high leverage, reliable 8th inning guy with a 1-run lead in a playoff game.
I agree.
But he's got potential there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My favorite thing is also in the bullpen, but it's not a backwards thing. It's Griffin Jacks. He has been absolutely filthy. He gets filthier with each game. He threw another scoreless inning on Sunday. His ERA now dipping below 2 to 1.82. He has not given up a run in his past 10 outings, which encapsulate 10 innings as well. Griffin Jacks has been phenomenal. And I know that there's now some talk about if he could get moved back to the rotation in 25, but this guy is, I think right now it's clear, this guy is your best arm in that bullpen and has been for pretty much the entire year. Because Duran started hurt, he came back. He hasn't been bad. He's not been as dominant necessarily as he was a year ago, which was a superb season, but Griffin Jacks, just kudos. I mean, this guy has turned into an all-world arm, and I watch him now, like, that is unhittable stuff at times. Really good.
Yeah, man, we've come a long way in the last 12 months from one member of the show wanting him off the postseason roster entirely.
He only has 3 wins this season. I'm not sure if I can put him on my playoff roster.
I forgot about
that.
That
was me.
That's
that
right.
was me.
I forgot all about that.
He's the best option in that bullpen. It's not even close in my opinion. You look at any of, if you go to Baseball Savant, you look at all of the advanced metrics like expected ERA and chase percentage and whiff percentage and strikeout percentage and all this stuff. I mean, he's been nasty. Dude, his fastball this year, and he's mostly a sweeper-heavy pitcher. A lot of it comes with his sweeper, but just his fastball alone, opponents hitting 145 this year. I think he's only given up 2 home runs all season, which is pretty nuts. So in any big situation, like in a playoff game, and where this is going to happen, where it's the bottom of the 5th or 6th, and you need some outs right now, Griffin Jacks might be that first fireman out of the bullpen because that's a turning point in the game. But I would say he has surpassed Duran in terms of effectiveness and even nastiness in the Twins bullpen.
I think there's some historical precedent too, where it's nice to have maybe your best reliever not be slotted into that closer role. So this might actually work out well if maybe you keep Duran in the traditional closer role going into late September playoffs. And Griffin Jacks, like Declan said, he's a guy where, hey, from the 6th through the 9th inning, just be ready, man, because if we need a firefighter in here or we need someone to commit, maybe a starting pitcher fades and it's a 1-run game in the 7th or something, like there's something to be said for flexibility with your best relief pitcher. Okay, my favorite current Twins thing is Carlos Santana. So the bleep hits the fan again yesterday. You give up the 5 spot, and I know they wound up losing the game, but here comes Carlos Santana, top of the 9th inning, bang, just immediately ties the game with a home run. So he now has on the season a couple things on his season. So he has 18 home runs after last year. He had 23, I guess, but he's on pace to have the most home runs in a season since 2019. He's on pace, wins above replacement, to be like a 3.5 WAR player, which would be the second best season of his career if he gets to 3.5 WAR. The only other season that eclipsed that was 2019. And he's been, by every measurement, one of the best defensive first basemen in the entire league. And this is after being unplayably bad for like the first 3 weeks of the season.
Incredible.
And there was a member of the show also who wanted him off the roster, too. I've never been wrong ever on the show.
I wanted him released. You know what? Mea culpa Monday. Mea culpa. He has been fantastic. I mean, he should win a Gold Glove at first base. He has been phenomenal there.
He deserves the Gold Glove that Joe Mauer didn't get like 10 years ago.
Yep. And he's been an incredible first baseman for a while now. I believe I heard he has never won a Gold Glove. He was a finalist a year ago. He deserves one now. And yes, he has been for a guy who I thought, okay, he is absolutely cooked. Mea culpa. You know what? I will never apologize for my Dylan Bundy take because I was right about that one. On this one, I was 100% wrong. I'm glad to see him thriving.
Congrats on being right about Dylan
Bundy. Well, you guys were like, apologize to him. Every time he pitched well, you guys were like, you should apologize to him. No. That didn't happen. Not going to happen.
How wrong do you have to be regularly to call back the time you were right about Dylan Bundy?
Because I have to remind you guys, when you're calling for apologies from me, I'll give them if they're earned. This one is earned. Carlos, I'm sorry. You have been absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that you wear your baseball pants as shorts. It's great.
It's great.
They're like shorts. He wears shorts.
He takes great at bats, man. He grinds at bats. He's patient. He's got a knack for. I pulled up his home run log, and a huge chunk of his home runs this year are like close games or 7th inning or later. He had that one, was it like the 10th or 11th inning a few weeks back where they were down by 2 runs and he hits a bomb. So, guy's been ridiculous.
He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, you know what else is phenomenal? KS Drywall. All right, maybe you're watching a baseball game on a Sunday and a reliever gives up a bunch of crooked numbers and you punch a hole through your drywall. Or there's any number of different examples. KS Drywall offers full drywall, plaster repair, popcorn ceiling texture removal, and also interior painting services, as you can see on the YouTube channel right now. They service the greater Twin Cities metro and western Wisconsin. The KS Drywall crew offers great professional quality craftsmanship, great communication. Speaking of that popcorn ceiling, that's like a 1950s through 1980s sort of stylistic thing. And if you plan on selling and maximizing the value of your home someday, you're going to want that removed, and that's what KS Drywall can come in and do. They're available, ksdrywall.com, to schedule a free estimate. That's ksdrywall.com to schedule a free estimate. You can also find them on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And Nicolay Law is here. Nicolay Law, big supporters of Minnesota sports teams, including the Twins. And they know that when you or a loved one gets injured, ordinary life can come to a stop. Things can get complicated. And during that time, insurance companies are likely to pressure you. They don't really care if you've got stuff going on in your life. That's where Nicolay Law comes in. They will get you the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay at nicolaylaw.com. or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY.
Baseball.
Okay, Dex, your least favorite current Twins thing.
This is a little bit of a callback, but this Jorge Polanco trade is just terrible. Now maybe Gabriel Gonzalez.
For everybody.
Yeah, it's terrible for Seattle. Did you guys see, little side tangent here, that the Seattle Mariners as a team are still hitting less than the Chicago White Sox are as a team from a batting average perspective, which is incredible because, as we know, the White Sox are one of the worst teams that's ever been assembled.
No offense.
And that Polanco trade is not working out for Seattle. Maybe Gabriel Gonzalez on the Twins side turned into something. That might be a silver lining down the road, but we just don't know yet with prospects. And Justin Topa, who dealt with the knee tendonitis issue towards the end of last season with Seattle, it flares up again in spring training. He gets shut down. He goes to rehab. The velocity isn't there because his knee's still bugging him, so he gets shut down again. And now his arm hurts from ramping up 2 to 3 different times over the last 4 or 5 months, where now his arm's in a problem. So the whole Jorge Polanco trade has been a disaster. I think everyone kind of knew the Twins were ready to move on from him, and I thought at the time, hey, getting a starting pitching option in DeSclafani, who ended up not even being able to throw the baseball for more than a couple weeks. Justin Topa, who is dealing with an arm and a leg issue, and a nice, a little cake on the little frosting on the cake, and Gabriel Gonzalez might be all right there. But this Jorge Polanco trade for both sides has just been a disaster. It's a big black eye.
Yeah, Polanco. It's funny. One of my buddies does a morning show in Seattle, Mike Salk, the Brock and Salk show on 710 ESPN Seattle. And right before, I think it was right after that trade, and I can't remember exactly. Was it like in the winter that trade was made?
It was like January.
January?
Yeah. Yep.
Right after Twins Fest.
Yeah, so it was like late January, early February.
Yep.
And he brought me on his radio show to talk about Jorge Polanco, and I had glowing things to say. So, I mean, the guy's, he takes great at bats. He's just a good professional baseball player when healthy. I think you guys are going to love him. And I now have Mariner fans, not every day, but like once or twice a week, Mariner fans will jump in being like, you told us.
Yeah, you lied.
You sold us a bill of goods on Jorge Polanco.
And then you sold us Justin Topa, yet another in a long line of guys the Twins have gotten who have been hurt.
Yeah, but like, I don't even know how much of an asset. I think Gabriel Gonzalez is going to be the real, like, that's the, can you use him as a trade chip?
Now.
Well, no, like, he's the most valuable player in the deal.
Yeah.
Because it was 1 year of Polanco at like $10 million. You weren't going to get much for it. So if he can pan out to be a good
where the Mariners really got screwed is they went out and thought that they were actually getting a bat when they got Garver from Texas, Mitch Garver, abysmal.
Yeah.
Career is completely fallen apart.
Super weird, man. And then he made those cryptic comments about
I feel bad for
Jeffers.
Him. Yeah. That too. Yeah. Whose bat is back, by the way.
It is
nice weekend for Jeffers.
The pencil bat. The Players Weekend pencil bat?
Yeah,
that was
Players
great.
Weekend. They've now stripped it down. No, I don't. But
Okay.
it went from, hey, you could put a name on the back of your jersey. It's going to be great fun. Now we'll allow you to use a couple of bats and shoes. I like it.
So he's not able to use that pencil bat going forward?
No.
I'm going to
go with no.
No, he's not.
Which is
no. Audra asked him because she, I guess, predicted on Thursday or Friday. She said, well, if you hit a couple of home runs, can you continue to use the pencil bat? And he's like, no, that's baseball. I can't. And then he hit a couple of home runs.
I had no idea. On the plane ride home yesterday, I turned on Sunday Night Baseball and I was like, where is this game? Like, I was super confused. It's foggy. It's been a long 4 or 5 days.
How much bourbon have I had?
I was like, it's Yankees and that's not Yankee Stadium. That's not Comerica Park. And I'm like very perplexed for 15 seconds. Like, what's going on? Oh, it's the Little League World Series baseball game that's happening. And the next year it's Seattle and the Mets, I think, are playing in it next year.
Yes. Is that done yet?
The Little League World Series. No, I think the championships are this week.
It's taken up. I hate how it takes up ESPN programming, and Like
What's
every
going
day
on
I
on
turn it
ESPN that you need to?
They're
you need to
anthology
see?
shows. I want to watch the anthology shows. I want to watch.
Those are
the
just available,
PTS,
aren't they? Like on
ESPN
demand.
too. But I don't need little kids running around on my TV. I
What? So
say this every year.
you
I do
need
not like the
Tony
Little League.
Tony Reale buzzing a
I
bunch
don't
of
like the
hot
Little
take
League World
artists.
Series. I think it should be on like ESPN U or something.
Well, they're not college athletes, so we can't.
No, I know, but
bury
bury it on a channel I don't care about. It's little kids run. I mean, they're 12 years
I
old.
like Little League World Series. It's fun.
I used to like the
If
championship.
you really
That was
need
it.
NFL Live, I'm sure you can find it.
I
on
do
some
find it. I'm
channel.
just saying, as a high-paying cable customer, I want the Little League World Series off primary channels, and I want it off now. 12-year-old kids should play for fun. I don't need to see every single game. Show the championship like they used to on ABC on a Saturday, and then that's cute. That's it.
What's your least favorite Twins thing besides the Little League World Series?
Well, yeah. So I'm going to pile on here because there was a play in particular that was completely botched on Sunday, but it starts with the guy who was on third base. Top of the 10th, Miranda. Infield in, including Seager, who is very, very good. Infield in, bouncer to the shortstop. Contact play is on. Now, we can complain about that or not. I'm not going to complain about it. Contact play is on. And Edward Julian comes home, and he's out he's going to be out, okay? But he goes in standing up. Dude, at least slide. At least act like you are still engaged. At least act like you care. I know it's been a tough year, and quite frankly, I don't think that you should be up here right now. Like his reset, in my opinion, should have just been done in St. Paul, because I think he's a mental mess. He's still striking out a ton, but he goes in standing up, okay? At least try to backdoor slide it. At least act like you care. You cannot bowl over the catcher. So basically what you did is you just stood there and allowed him to tag you out. Now, here's my other complaint. The Twins then appeal, asking if the catcher was blocking the plate. Declan and I believe, were at a Twins game at Target Field a couple of weeks back when we ran into this exact same play. And I think the catcher was blocking the plate. We looked it up. With the infield in and a man on third, the catcher can block the plate. That rule goes out.
Also, it's hard if you just give yourself up, even if the rule was active. You really only get the call if you're sliding and trying to access home plate, right? If you just give yourself up.
Yes, but one, I mean, the disinterest on that play to me was disgusting. But two, they then appealed a play that the umpires should have said, you can't appeal that. You cannot review that. It's very clear. Infield in, ground ball, man on third, catcher can stand on his head at the plate if he wants to. And I looked it up again yesterday just to confirm it. And that's one of the stipulations. Whole thing screwed up, but Eddie Julian, act like you care. I mean, even Max Kepler is acting like he cares these days. Playing pretty well, I think. So I just send him back down. Let him have the winter. I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying release him. He still could be a productive player. But man, has this been a lost year?
I think they're hoping to spark, because he was legitimately one of your catalysts last year. So they're just hoping that something sparks here, because time's running out on the season. Okay, my least favorite Twins thing is more of a woe is us thing that I saw on social media. I don't know if you guys follow MLB Simulator. It's MLB Deserve to. It's the MLB Deserve to Win-O-meter on Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen them before. Yeah,
and it takes the bones of a baseball game, your expected batting average based on your exit velocity. It's so if Declan's team is playing my team and Declan hits 30 line drives and I hit 10, but he just happens to hit him at where I have my fielder's position, then like he got pretty unlucky. He squared up 30 baseballs in a 3-hour baseball game, and I squared up 10, and I beat him, right? So I'm not going to explain how the sausage is made, but this Twitter account essentially tracks net luck for each team. How many games are you winning that you probably shouldn't have, based on if we were to play that game over again 100 times? By a mile, Cleveland is the luckiest team in all of baseball.
Weird.
And the Twins are one of the 6 unluckiest teams in all of baseball.
Interesting.
In fact, the unluckiest teams, according to this metric, the Braves, the Yankees, the White Sox, or the Red Sox, Athletics, Mariners, White Sox, Twins are right in that mix too. And then the luckiest teams, Guardians by a mile, and then Rays, Nationals, Padres, Rangers, and Blue Jays. So it's all kind of evening out finally now as we sit here middle of August, and the Twins have closed this to just 2 games, and the Guardians have.
White Sox are unlucky.
Yeah, that's how that. So they're bad, and they're also unlucky. So that's how you get a team that's going to set the major league loss record, most likely.
Some would say that you make your own luck.
Well, there's probably some of that, but I think this is factoring in, if I'm not mistaken, you hit a laser beam and someone catches it, or there's different factors that go into this. It's fair to say that the White Sox are bad and unlucky, and that combination is how you get to lose 120 baseball games in the season, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, the Guards this year too, 23-15 in 1-run games. That's the most in the American League. They're 7-3 in extra innings games, which I know probably also factor into 1-run games, obviously, if you walk teams off. But yeah, it is very interesting looking at some of those lucko meters, if that's the best way to phrase that. But when you are hitting just out of your shoes with runners in scoring position so effectively, that's unsustainable. That's just what Cleveland is doing. And yeah, that back end of the bullpen's been great, but we saw last year the Twins bullpen took a jump in September and October because guys weren't being run out there all the damn time either. So yeah, I think eventually this runs out. It's going to be fun though, man. I mean, they have 4 more games against them. Twins are just 2 games back. Obviously, KC is not out of this either. So it is very clear what's happening there at Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all right, there's your state of the Twins here, baseball boys. Judd just bitching about technicalities of replays and Little League baseball games overflowing on ESPN.
My Little League World Series take has been out there for a long time, and I would like to remove it from any sustainable channel. You know what? Take it off HD. Stick it on a standard def. So then I really don't care. Then you can show it all you want. Cable
even exist anymore?
Yes, I have.
think they do. Yeah.
No,
they have some
on my Comcast package. I get all of the sports channels, which includes like previously the Pac-10, which is now dead. And the Pac-10 network was a standard def channel.
So if you have a 25-inch Zenith TV with rabbit ears, you can... Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Zenith. Well, yeah, I had a couple of those.
Heavy? The old heavy TVs.
I'm excited starting maybe tomorrow to just mix in daily Little League World Series updates and segments on the SKOR North Twins Show.
You guys go ahead and
really looking forward to that.
You pre-record those and then I'll join after. I mean, honest to God, I don't need to see every game these kids play.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Watching TV is a choice. You don't.
Right.
I love how in 2024
when you pay as much as I do, my choice should be determined by me.
It is. It's called all the other channels and digital
platforms
on a major
you can
channel.
Access. Get it off. That's all I'm saying.
Is someone forcing you with a pencil bat to the head to watch?
And by the way, this is a boy/men's sport I'm complaining about. Be very clear. I'm not complaining about this. Is not a gender equity issue. I have no problem. I
think you just dug your own. I think that's
no. I just want the kids off my TV. Just get them off. Daytime programming. I want what I know is there.
We need a Zolgad PR director, I think, after this episode now for everything. Right. That was just
That's more Pat.
Oh man,
that's more Pat.
Well, this has been the SKOR North Twins Show. We are pro.
Eddie Julian, get your act together. Jeez.
We are pro youth sports on this show, except for Judd. Judd's on an island.
Do
we'll see
whatever
you guys
you want.
for a Trevor Plouffe Tuesday tomorrow.
Just don't want to watch.